Welcome back to another Thriving by Nature podcast. I'm Bethany Stone. And as we approach this new year, I want to talk about something that comes up for almost everybody, and that is goals. But not just big, lofty goals that actually get lived, completed, little goals. I want to talk about the big ones. I want to talk about the little ones. I want to talk about the goals that you can accomplish rather than the goals that give you so much pressure that they just paralyze you. Because so many people will set goals that look good on paper, but then they feel overwhelmed, scattered, and then discouraged in weeks. I don't know if you've ever been to a gym in January. It is packed. There's nothing to use. You walk in, especially if you're like a consistent gym goer and you walk into the gym, all of a sudden you have like your normal people, but then you go in and there's like people you've never seen before. And every year this happens. And slowly all these people just stop coming. They just go away. They're gone. And it's back to like the core group of people that are there at the same time that you show up at every day. So this is not because of lack of discipline or motivation. It's usually because the goal that they had wasn't organized in a way that supported their life. And today I want to talk about goals that are realistic, sustainable, and just deeply aligned with who you are and the season that you're in. So why do goals matter? There is a lot of strong research behind this. I was actually just trying to look at this, so let me pull this up. Okay, this is a study from Harvard Business Review, and it shows that people who write down their goals and create specific plans are significantly more likely to achieve them than those who keep goals vague or just in their mental space. But here's the part that people miss. It's not just about writing the goal down. It is about breaking it down in a way that your nervous system can actually tolerate it. Goals are not supposed to be crushing. They're supposed to feel directional. They're supposed to make you feel like you have a direction and you know where you're going. That's what a goal is supposed to do. So I want to talk about personal story. Well, there's two stories I want to talk about, but the first one is a personal example that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. This is a story about how I became a runner, because I did not always want to be a runner. Actually, I never wanted to be a runner, but here I am 3 years later from beginning, and I am a runner now. Before this, the only cardio I did was I danced, I rode my bike, I liked Zumba, and I liked climbing mountains, but I did not run. And my son was a cross-country runner at the time in high school. And he just would beg me, please, Mom, I really want to run a marathon with you. Please, please, please. Finally, I decided, okay, I used to run in high school, but I played soccer. I would run like a mile or two, not a ton, not like cross country where they're running like 3 to 5 miles. I didn't do that. Well, I tried all sorts of different things. I tried the apps. I would research different ways to run. I tried, okay, walk for so long and then run for 20 minutes. I tried so many different things and nothing was working. Every single day, I just ended up being in pain and hurting, and it just didn't work. And I needed to try different ways to have this work. And it wasn't until my friend talked to me, and she was a runner, and she started running later in life too. And she said, you need to go put together a playlist of all the songs that you like. And so I did that. And then she said, only run during the chorus. Don't run during the verse, just run during the chorus. And that is it. That's what I did. I started running only during the chorus. And these were all songs that I liked. So it was already like you wanted to move in the first place. So I would run and then I'd walk and then I'd run and then I'd walk. And then pretty soon I was running a chorus and a verse. Then pretty soon I was running half the song. Pretty soon I was running the whole song. Pretty soon I was running 2 songs, 5 minutes without stopping. And I just didn't even realize it. And it was by breaking it down into little tiny steps, because I couldn't see the finish line, but every step got me closer to it and I didn't even know it. But that is how real progress works. Now I'm going to share even a bigger story about goals that I had. And this one, I don't think a lot of people can relate to, but maybe you can, because this is real life. And if you know me, I don't know how not to be real. It just is. So this one goes a little bit deeper. But when I was a single mom, I had 2 very clear goals in my life. I wanted to be present for my kids, and I wanted to get out of debt from this divorce that I had just had. And it was really put me in a difficult situation. I knew I didn't want to struggle for their future. And so I worked 5 jobs, and I worked 5 jobs with intention. During the day, I managed my parents' greenhouse, and it was on the same property where my kids were playing, and I could work with plants while I still was present with them. And then at night, when they were sleeping or winding down, I would go waitress. And when they had counseling appointments, I would go donate plasma. And in every spare moment that I had, I was planning, I was getting licensing, and I was building what would eventually become my school. And by the time my kids started going to school, I was opening and running a private school myself. And then on the weekends, on that same property we lived in, I would teach private ballroom dance lessons. It wasn't easy, but it was aligned with what I needed to do. The goals were very clear. The steps were broken down, and nothing was going to become between me and a better life for my children. That is what I did. And it worked. This is what I want you to hear. That you do not have to see the finish line. You only need to take the next step. Every step counts. Every small action moves you forward. And when goals feel so overwhelming, it's not a failure. You just need to reorganize. You just need a different system. You just need to look at it in a different way. So, because a new year is coming, here is my challenge to you. I want you to pick one goal, just one. And I want you to break it down into the smallest action possible. And that small action that you can take today or this week. You don't have to run the whole song, just the chorus. I want you to write it down, and then I want you to do the next small step. That is how momentum is built. You don't have to eat the whole elephant. You only have to eat it one bite at a time. That kind of is a gross metaphor, but you get what I'm saying. It's so big, but it can be done one little thing at a time, because this is how momentum is built. So I actually have created something that supports this. It is called the Ultimate Guide to Organizing Your Life, Mind, and Environment. It is a 35-page booklet, and it walks you through step by step on setting goals and the way that it can be grounding and sustainable in your life. And this is my gift to you for the new year. Anyone that books a call with me in January will receive this booklet for free. You just have to mention that you listen to this podcast and I will email it to you. You can find the link in the show notes to book a call. And yeah, just mention it and I will send you this booklet. So let's make this year where your goals actually support your life, not compete it. Well, compete with your life. So this is going to be your year. This is going to be a great year. I always have on my business card and on my website, it says bloom where you're planted. This year, bloom where you're planted. This is your year. Just nurture your environment and you'll be able to really thrive. This has been another episode of Thriving by Nature with Bethany Stone. And thanks for listening to my podcast and following me and doing all the things. So just, yeah, I really am excited to give this booklet away because I think it will help a lot of people create different strategies and really figure out what they need to do to get there. So book a call and I will see you on the other side.